Transformer fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, especially the one and only Army Mike, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Autobot Hot Rod, as he appeared in the Transformers The Last Night film. For the package, as you can see, absolutely gorgeous artistic image of Hot Rod right there. Some people have said that this is one of the best Studio Series figures that we've gotten to date, and I'm really curious if that's true or not, because I actually really did like the robot mode for him in the movie. As a character, you know, he was kind of like, but I really liked the way he looked. First, you got the Transformers text with the Generation logo. I can't believe we're all the way up to 93 of these figures so far. I mean, that's amazing. And they've already announced, like, the 99th and 100th, I think, which is from the upcoming Transformers Rise of the Beast film. My mind is blown. Coming to the side, you got an up-close image of him. The other side here has a more pullback image, just kind of showing his torso there, which that's kind of interesting that it's not more pulled back to get more of a full body shot, but it is what it is. When you come around to the back, you can see you have images of him in his robot and his vehicle mode, and it is an officially licensed vehicle, which means, of course, it's got the little Lamborghini logo right there. And then, as it is a big screen inspired figure, he does obviously come with the backdrop, which you can see right there. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Hot Rod opened up out of his packaging and obviously in his Lamborghini mode. And this guy turned out really very, very nice. Now, as you can see, in terms of weapon storage, you can plug his weapon right here in the top. That's kind of weird, just kind of having it there. But honestly, there have been worse places for it. In terms of the detail on his time-stopping weapon, you can see some nice blue paint around the intersection. But the majority of it is just done in this kind of darkish gray, gunmetal gray kind of color. I always find it funny when people are like, stop zit time, because he doesn't say Z. People are making Hot Rod sounds like he's German, and he's not. He was using a French accent, but he doesn't say stop zit time. I went back and rewatched it. Never once do I hear Z in there, but it is what it is. But vehicle mode wise, really very sharp, very sleek, and pretty darn spot on accurate to how it looked in the film. Now, one part that I would say I wish was done a little bit differently. As you can see, this is a almost gunmetal gray. It's not black. I do wish it was black like it was in the film. I mean, it does look really good, but it's definitely not the color that it should be. It should be a darker color, and I don't know why they chose with this slightly lighter version of black, but it still looks really nice. All the way around, even when you look at the back, they did a really good job of getting in a lot of the details around there, and you can see the nice taillights painted in there. You do have a few little bits of orange that kind of bleed through from the actual robot mode. You see more of it along the window section here towards the front bottom. I don't know what that is, but it's along the bottom there, All looks really very nice. I just, like I said, honestly just wish that it had a darker color to it. Other than that, I would say it's about perfect. You can kind of see, like what I was talking about here, like this is definitely darker than the rest of it. It really should be mostly this color. So maybe they'll do a repaint of this guy at some point in time. I would appreciate it, but I don't really mind in general because I still think he looks really very good. Now, I don't have that original Hot Rod anymore. This is the one that I kind of replaced it with in my collection. This is that World War II Jeep looking one. But you can see even here, the colors are a little bit more gray and black, where like this black that has a nice glossy paint. I wish that's what they used. That would look so much better on here. Just very reflective, very glossy. That would look absolutely amazing on this. But in terms of a comparison, here they are. The other one just, for some reason I didn't like it that much. It was a heavy retool of Lockdown. And I'll be honest, I don't know why I decided to replace that one with this one, other than the fact that I never used that Bumblebee, which this figure is based off of, in my display. So it kind of differentiated him from actually Lockdown. So I kind of liked it a little bit more. But in terms of his time-stopping weapon, you can see that you kind of have a similar style to it with the little barrel thing or these little bits around the top, much like that kind of is. So that's kind of cool. But for comparison, here that is. Now, transformation on this guy is quite interesting. He's definitely a more involved transformer that we've gotten in a lot of recent years, which is definitely a nice thing, but kind of takes a little bit getting used to. First, I'm going to come around here to the side here, just kind of pull this away. Lift that up, bring that up. There we go. Lift this up, bring that around. You can bring these down, just kind of leave them right there. They'll stay there for the most part right now. And then you want to bring these these arm sections out. So detach this from the side, and you'll be able to kind of angle these up, just getting these kind of out of the way. Come around here to these windows now. You want to kind of pull those away as well and lift those up just like that. Come down here. We're going to separate this back section, or this lower section, from the rear section here of the car, and then just kind of hinge that up, just kind of get that out of the way. And then this whole section here, you can kind of just leave right there for the time being. Come around here. You want to detach this. Once we get these little arms out of the way, detach this little section, pull that up. This whole bit's going to come up like that. Kind of push his head, kind of angle that. There we go. Pull that. Then this little piece here comes around. There we go. Fold that all the way around like that. And then you'll have clearance here where you can kind of tuck his head down if you get it right. Bring this around. There we go. Bring that down and around like that. When you have it like this, you can then take these little bits and you can tuck these along the side. And this is actually going to collapse down. Keep that there. Let's see, get that here. Let's bring this up. Lift this up just a little bit. Here, we'll come around here. Bring these wings down. You can bring this around like that. Actually, while you're doing it, tuck these little bits down first. Makes it a little bit easier. Just swivel that around. There we go. And then collapse that down. Get these little wings. Fold that back. Now this comes down. Get that down out of the way. These arms, you kind of shift up. Like that. Bring this whole section down. That will lock down like that. And then you can actually take the chest piece and collapse that in, which is really nice. Bring that all the way in. Rotate his head. Bring this up a little bit. Rotate his head down and around. Take these. You can rotate these all the way down to the sides of them. These little wing bits here. You can sit here. You can take these, fold these in, and those are going to just sit right there. These legs, you want to split these down the middle, and then take this. You're going to rotate this down and fold this out at the same time. Bring that down, and then you take this whole leg assembly here. Oh, well, hold on. Before you do that, rotate his whole waist all the way around, and then you rotate this towards the front like that, and then take the foot, make sure that that's the right way. Take this is going to tuck there, and then this comes up, folds over, and then take this tire, and this is going to rotate towards there. So did I have that the right way? Oh no, there we go. Put it like that, so you get the majority of the orange there in the front. So again, fold this down, hinge this out. There we go. Come on, rotate you. There we go. And then you're going to rotate that around there. Rotate his foot. Take this piece, rotate this all the way up. Tuck that there, and then take this tire. Rotate that out to the side. Pull that kind of out as far as you can. Then situate him a little bit. These little wings here, you can kind of position these however you want. He actually had them as wings, so you can you can't really bring them all the way because these kind of get there, but at least you can kind of have them dangle there, which I think looks really cool. And then straighten out his legs, straighten out his arms. Get that shifted up all the way. And when you're done, there you have Hot Rod in his really cool looking robot mode. And he looks absolutely terrific. All the way around, this guy is a extremely well done and accurate representation of Hot Rod from the Last Night film. This is leaps and bounds better than what we got before. Again, I do not have that original Lamborghini version of him, but here is that World War II version of Hot Rod, which, you know, in terms of that character, it still works for him because he did have that World War II scene with Bumblebee. So it's not that this one isn't entirely accurate, but this one definitely has more of that common look for him, I suppose you could say. This guy's the bit of the flashback scene, whereas this is the modern take, and he looks really very good. As you can see, you can have him hold his time-stopping weapon fairly easily. I do like the wings here. I do kind of wish that there was a way that you could, I mean, you might be able to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the way, but I do like how they kind of flare out there, much like they did in the film itself. There were a couple scenes where they were upright, where kind of like what Bumblebee's had, but I'm happy that they're like that. He definitely has a little bit more extra junk on his arm. That could be a little bit more streamlined, but realistically, I don't know really what you could do with it too terribly much. I think that it looks perfectly fine, though, considering the rest of them looks really good. Is he like a little miniature masterpiece? Yeah, I think if you were going to go that far, though, you would definitely want to see them do something a little bit better with these forearm bits. But the rest looks really good, and while I talked about the color in here, I actually like it. He's got a lot of orange bits on here, which he definitely had in the film. I do wish he had a little bit more of a silver paint. You can see like a lot of silver on this guy. I wish that silver paint was translated here. That would be a little bit better, but for the most part, I think he looks extremely well done. Coming in to take a closer look at that face, I mean, also, that is an amazing head sculpt. Really quite nice. There is no light piping, but those eyes have a very bright blue look to them, which look really cool. I love the way that the chest compresses. Even when you look at the CGI and everything, these little bits right here are present in the CGI, which is really cool. Now, he has a little bit more of a shoulder pad sort of thing going on, and he doesn't here, but I think that if you added that up there with the bulkiness of the arms, it would make his arms look too big. So I'm okay with it. But again, you can see great detail molded into his abdomen area, and then the legs do get a lot of real nice paint on there as well, which I think looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm really quite happy with how he turned out. Now again, is he worthy of being called a mini masterpiece, like what I call a lot of these figures nowadays? I definitely would say that, but as a deluxe size figure, one thing that definitely gets a little bit frustrating would probably be his transformation, because it is kind of small, so you're kind of stuck with a lot of the details and intricacies of the transformation kind of bumping into each other, so it does get a little bit more tricky, but he still absolutely nails the look in terms of robot mode and vehicle mode. First articulation, the head is on a ball joint, but it is fairly tight on mine, so you can rotate it around, but I almost feel like the peg, because of how tight it is, sort of warps as you rotate it around. I kind of feel it like stretching as I'm rotating his head around, so it's not terrible, but I would just be careful if yours is like that. The shoulders are on ball joints, so you get a good range of motion. You also had this little hinge that's kind of as part of the transformation. You have a swivel here at the upper part of the bicep. You have a bend at the elbow. As a deluxe figure, I was kind of surprised to see that he also has wrist articulation. That's actually nice. Come down near the waist, and it does rotate at the waist. That's kind of part of the transformation as well, which that's also nice to see. The hips are on ball joints, so they move in and out, forward and back. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. That's a little bit loose. I wish that was a little bit tighter. It's not bad or anything. It's just something that I could probably fix myself. You do have knee bends, but the tires here do kind of get in the way, so you do have to kind of force it past there, but it's really not something that I'm going to really care that much about, because he's just going to stand there. And then the ankles, you do have this little hinge on, well, it's technically a double hinge, and then you have a ball joint down here at the bottom, so you can also get some good ankle tilt with it. So lots of articulation in them, and honestly, this is a huge improvement over that World War II one, and even that remold / repaint of Lockdown that we got initially. That was a Studio Series figure as well. So this is really impressive to see the evolution to create a much more accurate looking representation of the character. This guy turned out great. Now, as I always talk about, transformation, sometimes going from one mode to the other is usually a little bit more tricky for some figures. And this is definitely one where his transformation to his vehicle mode is a little bit trickier to do. First, you're going to take the head, rotate that all the way around. You're going to kind of tuck his chin down into his back area. Come down to these arms. You want to pull these up and away. Get that up there like that. Make sure that the hands are straight along the side. Let's come down here to the feet. You're going to come around to the back. This whole section here folds out, revealing his spoiler. That's what we tucked underneath there. But there's also another little piece that comes up. This is the back section of the car, kind of in between the taillights. So you want to make sure you pull that up as well. And then this whole section here is going to rotate. It's really kind of tricky to do. So let's take the tire. You're going to rotate that down, but then you're going to bring this up, and this will, that second joint right there, you want to bring that up all the way, and then keep all this stuff out, and this is going to rotate around. So collapse that all the way, and then that'll sit just like that. Then you'll be able to rotate that around, and that's going to lock in there. So again, kind of take the tire, rotate that back. That way it's a little bit easier for you to know where you're supposed to be rotating things. Fold all this stuff out, fold the spoiler out, fold that little middle piece out like that, and then this piece right here, you're going to come up and around, bend at that one joint, collapse it all the way down, and rotate. And this will collapse in and lock into place. Then you rotate him at the thigh, and then you can actually connect these two bits together there, just like that. Very nice. Right, make sure everything is nice and lined up. And like I said, that's that little bit that kind of hides underneath there. Some people have complained about that popping off. Mine really hasn't had that problem, so I don't mind too much. Take this, rotate him at the waist. Well, get that all the way around just like so. And then you want to take this section, fold these little bits out, fold these little bits out, and then take this torso bit, detach this. There we are. Pull that up, and then kind of hinge these arms down just a little bit. Take this section, spread his chest bit out, and then this will come all the way around. That little thing, like all sorts of hinges. So rotate this up and around. Keep that completely spread out. There we go. Then bring this all the way around to the top, and this will fold down. Again, kind of keep that completely spread apart so you can bring this and fit that down there. There we go. Yeah, let's see. Take this piece. Sorry, before you do that, take this piece, lift this up, and that will rotate around. Did I have that lifted up? That gets really tight in there. Get these little wings out of the way. So this is kind of part where I was talking about, because of how small the figure is, things do kind of bump into each other. So bring that up. There we go. Kind of snap that all into place. Bring these little bits out here and underneath there. Then bring this all the way around. Get these little side bits, lift it up and out of the way, and then you can bring this down. This will collapse, and oh, see, I completely just jinxed myself. I was like, oh, I don't have a problem with that, and then this just happened. So plug that right back in there. Literally, that is the first time that has ever happened to me. So yay. All right, get that there, and then take this, and this part here is going to tuck and snap underneath there. Come on, what are you doing? Get that. You go underneath there. There we go, just like that. Now you have the back section basically done. That annoys me so much. These little bits right here, this does get a little bit fiddly. Extend these all the way up, and then you bring these in on this little joint bring that down like that, and then this is going to rotate around. Do that on this side as well. Bring this down, get that out of the way, get that to collapse, rotate that out. So now the elbow is going to be a little bit bent as it collapses underneath there. And then once you do that, you can line all this stuff up. You can kind of keep this up and out of the way. This is going to come around here. Well, let's see. Let's get this piece lined up. And this is the part where you just kind of have to line all these little panels up and get everything to kind of slot over and in and over and in and something like that. There we go. And then bring this around. That's going to fit right inside that little area. And this, like I said, you literally are just getting all these tab bits to line up. So it can be a little bit tricky to do. There we go. How's that? No, there we go. Squeeze that all in just like that. Do that on this side. Collapse that all the way up. It's a little tab over, under, in, and out. That's what transforming toys is all about. And then again, just kind of collapse that. Compress that as much as you possibly can. Keep that right there. And then these little tab bits here actually kind of come up and over, and then will collapse in the front of this. Again, that is definitely tricky to do. Let's try this side here first. Lift that up a little bit. Come on. Something like that. Come on. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So then keep all that squeezed in. That's nice and lined up. And then again, bring this up. Collapse that. Kind of bring that down. There we go. There you go. Squeeze everything. Take a look how it all looks. Nice. Nice. And when you're done, there you have Hot Rod back in his vehicle. Get out of here. But here he is. But now the question is this one of or the best Studio Series figures to date? Some people will say yes. I will probably still say no. Vehicle mode wise is outstanding. This is extremely well done, but I definitely think that the more glossy dark black should have been utilized throughout the entire body of him. It would have given him a much more accurate look to his vehicle mode. Transformation can get fiddly. I like what they do with a lot of it, but because again it's very small, there is not a lot of space to do the stuff that you need to. So you do kind of like have to push things and kind of move things out of the way by bending them a little bit to kind of get things to slide around. And that's unfortunate, but it's not detrimental so much to the figure. I just definitely think it could be a little bit more of a fluid transformation, but it is certainly hindered by the size of them. But robot mode is outstanding. The biggest problems that I would have with that would probably be the forearms, and that's about it. Other than that, he's extremely accurate to his on-screen persona. All the way down to having the windshield form those little tiny wings on his back. I love that little attention to detail. So the question is, should this guy be detolfed? And in my opinion, abso-freaking-lutely. The previous version of Hot Rod in terms of vehicle form like this was really, in my opinion, a letdown. He looked cool, but didn't accurately represent how he looked in robot mode. The other version, now being the World War II version, still I think is a good figure and is pretty accurate to how he looked in the film. But this right here is the look that I have for Hot Rod. And it has taken a long time to get one that looks as good as this. And I am super thrilled that they've done them. So absolutely, I would recommend picking this guy up. If you're interested in adding him to your collection, he is hitting various retail locations right now. Or as always, you can do the real simple thing and go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, or even Hasbro Pulse. For all of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, where you can swing by and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. Once again, I want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Hasbro for providing me with this figure for the purposes of my review. And as always, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and until next time, this has been Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.